Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Moggycraft Season 2. And last time we built this beautiful tree house right over here. And yes, it is a tree house. It is a house made out of the tree and it's on top of the tree. Normally it's on the side of the tree, but I decided let's actually turn the tree into the tree house. And if you guys want to see maybe like a tree house that has the little houses on the side or something like that, Sunday built one in Moggycraft Season 1, so make sure to go into that playlist and check those episodes out. But if you have a keen eye, you'll notice that something else happened last episode. It is maybe visible for like a half a second maybe, but I have done a little bit of work on the base. As you can see, the walls are now complete, mostly. As you can see, I have done a little bit of outline over there. But for the rest, as you can see, this has all been filled in. Yes. A lot has been done. Now I did record it, but I didn't feel like putting that into the episode because I didn't want the episode to become too long, and of course it would be a little bit out of place. So I'm just mentioning it now that I have done this, and I don't know if we're gonna be base building or doing something else in this episode. Let's go find out. Time for the moment of truth. And what we're doing? Okay, well that is a coincidence. As you could see, I didn't do any cuts there, but we got base building. So I guess that's what we're going to be doing today. Now, when I say base building, I do of course have quite a lot of freedom. This area, for example, I still want to fix some things. We have a lot to do over here still. But I don't want to get rid of these wheat fields, because I definitely will need more of the mud bricks. But most importantly, we also have the building itself that we have to take care of. So what are we going to start with? Well, I'm thinking I want to start with this area. Yes, I had a question a long time ago of what exactly we are going to do with this. And I have finally figured it out. So what exactly are we doing here? Well, I want to start off with fixing this area right here. And that is actually going to be pretty simple. We just need to delete a lot of these blocks first. So we have quite a gap over here now. And this is the moment when we can actually start building here. And the first thing I'm going to do is put a layer of stone bricks over here, followed by actually mining this over here. Because this is the one place where I want to have more stone bricks. And yes, that is the correct place. And then we just need to make a little bit of an arch, and I think this will do nicely. Let's check it out from a little distance. Yeah, that looks like a good arch. And now these stones will actually have to be turned into slabs. Don't worry about all that gravel spilling. I will put it back. Now all we need to do is turn this into a little bit of a cave, and then we can add the water, which will flow down from over here. But what we'll have is that the water also goes a bit forward from over here, I think. So we could add this right here. Yeah, that should make it so the water flows forward from over there. However, keep in mind that I do want this to look nice. So this right here already looks a little bit too flat to me. Now, one thing you might notice is that there's dirt over there, and yep, I obviously don't like that. So let's remove these three and put in some stairs instead, just like this. And this way we won't see the dirt and we can still waterlog those stairs. The water is in and it is looking quite good, I must say. And we even have this little secret area behind the waterfall. And I have started on the bottom side of things, as you can see. Yeah, it's not looking that great. But I'm thinking what I'll do is have like a floor on this level. And then kind of have like maybe steep walls going down. Maybe not all flat, but it's definitely not going to be like, for example, over here. It's gonna be more like, do I have any, like maybe over here, like this section over here. Yeah, I would say let's just get started. That's probably the easiest way to do it. And I guess what I'll do is first put in the floor. I'll do it out of stone, and what I'll probably make the floor itself out of, because this is just going to be the bottom side, probably gravel? I guess that would make sense. I will have to remove some of this sand, for example, the clay, the dirt, although of course that could take a long time. So I might not do all of that today. But for this area, I'll probably just put in the gravel and hope it's going to look good. I'd say this is looking pretty clean, and now what we can do is add some details. So let's just grab these shulker boxes and this stone cutter, and let's add some of those slabs and stairs, the regular cobble, the mossy variant, and add a little bit of this andesite and granite. No, not granite. What is it? Gravel. That's the one I mean. Into all these walls. And I think here I might want to consider just adding a little bit of extra stone. So obviously in this place here, but also maybe like here? Yeah, I guess that could work. Well, with that being said, let's add in those nice little touches that make it look much better. So the area is now done, and I just quickly wanted to remind you all what exactly we are next to, just so maybe some of it makes sense that I've put in there. As you can see, of course, I have put in some seagrass and kelp as well in random places, but also some barrels and other items that were probably accidentally dropped into the water somehow. Yeah, people are not getting these supplies back unless they, try and dive them up or get a crane. But as you can see in this area, there is no crane. So I'm going to say that those items will stay down there forever. But I imagine that whatever was in these barrels is also gone bad at this point. As you can see, even the seagrass has gone onto it, the kelp is on top of it, so yeah, no salvaging these items anymore. And in case you guys were wondering, what difference do the little blocks make, like the slabs and the stairs? Yeah, quite a bit of a difference, isn't it? Because at first it was of course all gray, now we have a little bit of more color and a little bit more texture, and I really like it. Now, I didn't spawn this fish in here, but I'm hoping he stays, just so we have a little bit of an aquatic situation going on over here. Guys, if you want to go into there, go for it. I am not going to bring you guys there myself, because I imagine you would just leave at one point, but if you could just stay there, that would be very much appreciated. And of course, the secret behind the waterfall. If you want to know what's in this chest, well, wait until the end of the episode. But with this project now done, I would say I'm going to move on to the next project. But the real life time that I'm recording this at, I think I'm going to do that tomorrow. And maybe after that, I can do another day of building. And we can probably focus on different projects on each day. And the reason I'm doing that is because when it says base building, I technically could say, okay, build up the entire base. From the bottom to the top, all the things that are going to be here in this place. Of course, every tiny detail that still needed to be done here. Even the area behind here. That is a lot of work. I don't know if you guys noticed, but this is a pretty decent sized island. Um, and I'm not going to be able to complete the entire base this episode. At least if I want this video to go up on the day I want it to go up. And yeah, that's why I'm going to say I'm going to do 2 more things in this episode. 2 different things, all related to the base. It is now day 2, which means we move on to a different part of the base. And I think that area over there behind me is looking pretty empty and boring right now. Of course, we still have to finish this part of the base. And what I'm thinking of doing here is maybe having like a vegetable garden area. And we can actually expand it to all the way over here, I think. So I think first what I want to do is clear out some of this dirt. Well, as you can see, I did do quite a lot of digging. But now the base is looking rather weird, because of course this doesn't exactly look like a safe wall anymore. In fact, it's very easy to break in right here, which for my own convenience would be nice to keep. But I think what I'm going to do is just fix this real quick. And the way I'm going to do that is with these blocks. Just gonna put them into place, extend the wall down, and before you know it, everything should look normal once again. See, that is this wall already completely looking normal. Yep, as if nothing weird happened here. Now, of course, we're gonna have to do the same thing on this side. Just like that. And remove this dirt as well. And replace it with the deep slate bricks. There we go. Now the wall should look normal again. Let's also check it from this side. Yep, nothing weird going on here. It's almost as if it's always been like this. Except the floor is looking kind of messy. And we should definitely fix this, especially the stone over here. Let's just change it all to dirt. And then we can get started on the vegetable garden itself. So even though the grass is still spreading, of course, we can get started. And what I'm thinking of doing is having some leaves on the side of this. And this is looking pretty long, but I think we can also bring it in this direction. So the way I'm going to count this is by not counting it and simply bringing it in a diagonal in this direction, and we can see that it stops over here, which is a pretty good ways away from the tree farm. And let's just take a look. If we bring this over, we should see it indeed stops right over here. And we can bring it in this direction as well. Now, this is a little bit of an issue, however. Maybe what we could do is make it smaller. Instead of going with a square shape, I've decided to go with this shape right here and just make it a zigzag line through here, which is going to be the main path. Now the main path is of course going to be 3 wide, and the rest of this grass is going to be used for some crops and some custom crops, because of course I'm not just going to plant things willy-nilly. I'm just gonna actually be creative with this as well. And the first thing I'm doing is something that I saw online, and I honestly do not remember exactly how it looked. I just remember rose bushes being used as tomatoes, which is what I'm going to do again. So let's make sure that I have a nice amount. I would say this looks like a good amount, and I don't remember exactly how it looked, but what I'm going to do is put dirt on top of the rose bushes. And maybe right now you're thinking he has gone crazy, that dirt looks absolutely horrible. It does, I agree. Which is why I'm going to remove it. But first what I'm going to do is put some armor stands on top of the dirt. Alright, now let's remove that. And yeah, okay, this actually looks pretty good. What I do not like are these fences. Now, I don't remember what the original design had, but this is already looking pretty good, I would say. How am I going to improve on this is the question. Alright, I've switched up the fences and the grass. As you can see, I'm now using pothole and the birch fences. And over here, I want to do something very simple because it is a bit of a long line. I'm just going to put pumpkins in like this and melons in like this. And honestly, that's going to be all. And what I'm going to put underneath are the berries. Now, if this design looks familiar, that is because I did the same in Season 1. Over here I'm going to do something kinda similar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We can actually make it a bit bigger, I believe. Yes. And we're going to put 3 high. And then we're gonna put campfires on top of it. Which, yes, it looks weird having campfires on top. But not if we do this. Yes, we can turn off these campfires. And this way it will look a lot better when I put something such as glowberries underneath it. And we're keeping this one clear because I want to build something over here. Probably going to be very easy to guess what I want to build exactly. And if you guessed scarecrow, you would be correct. Now, let's put a face on that. Boom. And let's give it a bit of a hat. And for this one, what I'm thinking is that one thing we could do is actually put some of this over here as if the glowberries are dripping down onto the floor. Maybe also have some over there next to the barrel because it's spilled. And that's this area now done. As you can see, I have added some trees. Honestly, not the best trees I've done. I might actually redo them. I'm not sure. I like these trees over here so much better. Even though I'm pretty sure I used the same method of designing them. Yeah, I'm honestly not sure what happened. For some reason, I just don't like these trees. But let me know what you guys think. And of course, I have decorated this area. Even this part around the tree has finally been done. Now, this is probably the most boring area, because honestly not much is going on. But as you can see, stuff has been done. And it all just leads into this very nice and clean looking vegetable garden. And when you exit, there's this place, which currently does not have anything. I am honestly not sure if I should put something over here, or if I'm just going to leave it and terraform it similar to how I did the bit between this area and the staircase over here, with this nice little bit of greenery. But yeah, as you can see, it's also pretty bright over here, even though it is nighttime. And that is of course because I do want this place to be properly lit up despite being a mushroom field and no mobs being able to spawn. But still, looks really good. And now we have reached day 3 of building. And what I'm planning to do today, seeing as everything over here I would say is done, is if we just go over here, we'll notice that this is looking ugly. And worst of all, this is still looking very bad. So what I want to do is terraform the bits that reach to the water all the way till over, I think till over here, till this little cave. Maybe eventually we can turn this cave into something nice, but right now, this is looking disgusting. We should do something about that. And I'll actually start over here, because I think I can turn this into a nice little cave. And that way, we also don't need to worry about these copper golems and the villagers that can walk around to go over here and pathfind up here, which was possible before I put in this one specific block over here. And for those of you who like my terraforming, I'm going to do a little bit of a tutorial on how I tend to do this stuff, because I know not everyone knows how to do it, and I'm not saying I'm the best, but I definitely have learned quite a bit over my time playing this game. So I think I don't mind giving you a couple of hinters. And the first thing I usually like to start with is the dirt, the grass, and the stone in this case. And you've already seen me work away at this bit, but I think I can do better. And yes, that does include me just putting in a couple of extra blocks there. I don't like how this is looking right now, but one thing we could do is move it like this. Okay. Does this look better? I think it does look better. It still leaves this bit open for the copper golems to walk through, however, which is not what I want. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually replace this with some stone and simply put a slab up there, meaning that now nothing can pass through. But I'll also do that over here, except without the slab. And this way, it kind of looks like the stone is just coming up from the ground, which does mean I will have to fix this bit too. What I'm going to do now is replace some of the stone here, which I think only that piece needed to go. I think everything else here is already looking pretty good. So we got lucky there. And now it is time that when we have all of the dirt and stone and grass in place, that is when I like to add details, such as the cobblestone stairs and slabs. Don't forget about the mossy variants. So I'm just going to put one over there, for example. And as for other places, let's see. I don't really think there's much here that I could do. Over here, sure. Then over here as well, perhaps. Let me bring this one. No, I'm not going to bring this one. I'm gonna bring this up by 2. And don't be afraid to just revisit some bits and pieces. Just like that. I think that's looking good. And after putting in the slabs and the stairs, what you can do is, I usually like to start with the andesite because gravel can of course fall down. Just replace some at random. Don't think too much about this. Switch to the gravel. Put it there, 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 there. Alright. Now for the gravel, what we can do actually is maybe go down a little bit as well. And similar to the stone where I replace it with gravel and andesite, what I'm going to do is replace some of the dirt here with coarse dirt. And I'm not just going to do that in the floor, I'm also going to do that over here, where it looks like this would be the ceiling in this case. And because we have to terraform this bit as well, I'm actually pretty happy with the shape that we have already. So I can simply go in here and replace some of the dirt and grass with the coarse dirt. And once the blocks are in place, we can add the tiny details such as firefly bushes, leaves, hanging roots, pointed dripstone, moss carpets, glow berries, grass. And in this case I am not going to be using these leaves, that's for sure. But one thing I will be using is these glow berries, which I can put over there. A little bit out of sight, but once they grow, it should definitely show. And on the dirt, what I'm going to do is place some hanging roots. Not too many, I think 3 will be fine. Maybe over here we can have the firefly bush and the grass can go over here. With maybe a bush there. Yes, okay. I think that already looks pretty good. And we can have maybe a pointed dripstone over there. Maybe dripstone here. And I would say, let's maybe put a bigger one here. Let's not have it connect to the dirt on top. So what we're gonna have to do is just get into space and click on that. Boom. I think that looks a lot better. And yeah, I would say this is now coming together nicely. And the one thing we want to do next is put the moss carpets on this terrain over here. Now again, just do this randomly. So if we just quickly do that, we can see that it is a bit brighter, so it's going to light up in the dark. Hopefully reduce the amount of fireflies here. But yeah, I would say that is looking good. So the last thing I need to do now is terraform all of this. And that is going to take a while because of course it's going to have to go all the way over here. Probably even around here and to this point. So yeah, I'm not sure how I'm going to do this. Definitely not in a tutorial style because it's just going to be a very long tutorial. And I'm not sure if progress updates is like going to be interesting because it's gonna be like, look, I removed blocks, I placed blocks, and I put in better blocks. So I think what I'm going to do is, even though it's day 3, I'm sure the garden over there took up most of the time of this episode. I'm just going to show you the final product once I've finished this. So I'm just going to power through. Maybe even use day 4 for this, I am not sure. But let's do this. Well, I thought this was going to take a lot longer than it did, but maybe I spent 2 hours or something like that on this, so it's actually not all that bad. Now, let's go take a look at the final product. And let's just fly into the air with the Riptide Trident. That should be enough. And I'm just going to turn around in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. I think it is looking quite nicely, and it does go all the way to over here. Yes. And I've actually done a little bit of things different when it comes to near the tree. So here we have the rocky formation leading upwards with the dirt over there. And we have a similar story going on over here. But most of it is just dirt with a lot of rooted dirt into the mix, which I actually didn't use anywhere else, such as over here. You can see that there's no rooted dirt, just the regular dirt, grass and coarse dirt. But here it takes a little bit of a different approach and uses the rooted dirt, which I think really makes it all come together very, very nicely. And I would say that is the entire west side of my base completely finished. And in case you guys were wondering what was in this chest behind the waterfall, it's honestly nothing exciting. And even though we have done what it says on this, of course, the base hasn't been finished yet. And we still have a lot of work to do. So I am going to put it back into the dropper so we have another chance at pulling that one. However, next episode we definitely won't be spending here at the base. I think we've done a lot of base building in the past few episodes. And I think it is time to move on to something else. Anyway, if you guys have enjoyed this episode, then you know what to do. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye!